Welcome back, everybody, to the second attempt at doing the weekly WP Roundup with BJ this Friday afternoon. There have been some connection problems. My streaming software crashed, and hopefully we are back up and running and good to go now. I really appreciate you guys sticking around and letting me work through that, and hopefully we are going to be good to go for the rest of the hour. So if you're new to the stream, then what we do is go through news, tutorials, and resources. You can expand the video description and see what we're talking about, going through stuff that was published this week that regards WordPress and web design and web development. If you're coming back to the stream, you've been here before, welcome back. Hopefully everybody will take advantage of talking in the live chat. I see some folks have already done so in the YouTube live chat. So hopefully everything is back above board and we're able to get going. I'm looking over here at comments and settings and stuff. They look to be a-okay. So let's move into the news and see what's going on right now. Hopefully that is all behind us. The first thing that I wanted to remind you guys about is that we're having our Black Friday sale at the end of this month, like everybody else. That is going to be the best time that you get the best deal on either upgrading your account or becoming a new Elegant Themes subscriber or renewing your existing account. It's a 25% off discount. It's also this year, we're really happy to announce that we're giving away $1 million in prizes over the course of everyone who buys. And if you check the link, that's the first one under the description, it will give you the details on that. This will give you for upgrading from an annual to a lifetime membership, becoming a new member. And if you're already a lifetime member, you also get a series of discounts from different merchants and Divi related products that you can use that you can't get anywhere else, because you can't really get a discount on the stuff that you've got, but we can give you some Black Friday deals as well. And those details will be coming into your members area come Black Friday. Also, there is another giveaway for the Mac Pro. We're giving away another Mac Pro. You can go to that link and then check it out and enter to win it. The first giveaway was wonderfully successful, and hopefully y'all will be able to take advantage of that and really get yourself a Mac Pro because those are fantastic machines. I would love to have one, and I am not eligible to enter that contest. So it would be wonderful. I am seeing some weird stuff right now on YouTube telling me that the live chat is not available. I really do not know what is going on with these streams today. Something is going absolutely nuts. So hopefully, I'm going to type something in here and see if anyone can see that. Let me know if you're there or on Facebook, if you can see comments or type anything, because I don't know what's going on. We try to make this a really interactive show, and so it's very, very hard to be interactive if all of the live chat is not working. So hopefully that will get back to working a little bit. Move that over there to try and see some of the chat. Who knows? It's a crazy thing, y'all, the internet. So also, I wanted to talk to you guys about the WordCamp US 2020. It's next year's. We've just gotten through WordCamp 2019 in St. Louis, Missouri, and they've actually made a couple of changes based on community feedback that I thought you guys would be interested in. I know a lot of people were having issues with it being on the right after Halloween, that people were having to travel on Halloween this year to hit the weekend for the conference. So that was kind of frustrating for people. It was frustrating for me because it was my 10-year wedding anniversary. So they've moved it up a little bit. It's going to be on the 27th next year, where that is gonna put it in the middle of the week, which is great. It starts on a Tuesday, which means that it doesn't interfere with your weekends. It doesn't interfere with holiday plans, and it will, it's a professional conference, so a lot of professional conferences are during the week. This one is no different. So hopefully everyone will be able to attend or check that out, because it's really, really, really good. Really a fantastic conference. And additionally, I wanted to go through the WordPress 5.3 news that it was released. WP Beginner has a great article with features and screenshots of this release. I've just updated today, actually, some of my sites, and it's working well. I haven't had a chance to play with the new 2020 theme, but I'm excited to. I like the look of this one a lot better than I like the 2019 theme. So being able to see this one come out and see what we're going to be able to do with it is just wonderful, and I can't wait to see what people do. But 5.3 added in a lot of fixes for the Gutenberg editor, for the block editor. So if you haven't been a user on that, then this might be the time to jump on, because I like the block editor. There are some folks who are big detractors of it. I was at first, but I really think that it's become a very good editor, and really want you guys to take advantage of the good things that it can do. So it is got a significant upgrade in WordPress 5.3. They have done, like I said, the 2020 theme. They've done some UI changes. They've gone through in this WP Beginner article and shown a lot of what the new blocks do, which is really, really important to rather than just reading what they are. So you can see the breakdown on there. And then there's a lot of site health performance analytics that you get this time, so that you can check and see what is going on with your site built in. You don't have to install any extra plugins, which is great, because a lot of people don't know to do that. If you're not a developer, if you're like your clients, I mean, they're the ones who may not know to look for a site health plugin. And if you don't run a maintenance plan or anything like that, then having this built in will let them know what's going on. If they get a red flag from that, then they can call you in, rather than it just being kind of up in the air. So this is going to be good news for everybody to have that in there. And then I got distracted because of all the flubs so far. So moving forward from that, the last thing that I had under the news this week was that there is a new way to earn money on WordPress.com. I saw this and just wanted to let you guys know about it, because I assume that some of y'all have clients on WordPress.com, or want to move from there, or maybe move to there if they're not feeling like they got enough value out of their self-hosted stuff, or I've known people to do that. So I wanted to point out that there is a recurring payments feature on there now that works like Glow.fm, like Patreon, like any membership site, that it's built into WordPress.com now, where through and Jetpack powered sites, I suppose, as well. But usually when it says WordPress.com, sometimes those haven't made to Jetpack yet. But you can, bill them directly there. You can do donations and accept it through this payment processor uses Stripe, so that you don't have to worry about telling them to go to your Coffee to support you, or anything like that. So if you work with creatives, or you are a creative, having this built into WordPress is hopefully going to earn quite a few people a little extra revenue. So that was the stuff that I'd found for news this week. That said, I'm really looking at the live chat and everything here, and I really truly hate that this isn't that nothing is coming through here. It's breaking my heart on seeing that people's chat is not coming through. And if it is coming through for you, then it's not for me, which makes me very sad. And and there's the chat working. I'm super happy. This is my happy dance. Like holding my arms up. It's like Steve Holt in Arrested Development. That makes me very, very happy. I am super excited about this now. Now I get to talk to y'all. I don't know what happened. That's great. I popped it out and I can see it now. So I will, let me look through the comments here. Since that's all of the news, I want to be able to catch up with the discussion with you guys. I see people saying that, coming through loud and clear, that chat's working for you guys. I see that. And I see that Video Superhero says that I'm afraid of this release, that it changes how media is handled, which is a big part of the WordPress 5.3 release. If using Amazon S3 upload plugin or any remote media plugins, there have been some problems. I haven't used any remote media plugins myself, but I like the idea of the way that it's handling the media uploads, but I can absolutely see with it being external, the resizing and picking it that way could be very, very damaging. And I see that Uncle Social says WooCommerce just released 3.8 with lots of new Woo blocks, which is great that those work with Gutenberg as well. And Reed says when you use the theme builder coupled with the block editor, as long as you're using dynamic content, it's fantastic. And Reed, we're coming out with the second iteration or second version of the Gutenberg integration with Divi pretty soon. So hopefully it's going to be much smoother than even what you're working with now, because I like I said, I'm a fan. JL Web Creative, I'm so Divi centric. I haven't really been bothered with Guten blocks, but I guess I should check it out. Yes, I absolutely think that you should. It is in my opinion, a much better experience in terms of writing content. It is absolutely not a replacement for Divi in terms of page creation, and now with the template builder with like blog post like design. But in terms of just getting content onto the page, writing, making sure that everything is where it needs to be and lined up well, it is a much better experience than working with a tiny MCE editor, or coding the whole thing in HTML and using the text box. So I do like Gutenberg for that. And the more blocks that get put in, the better. Like I've been working with some plugins where they're including blocks that you can like put in to work with their content, where you don't have to worry with shortcodes anymore, where it's integrated directly into the editor. Like it is a good idea, and it's starting to finally happen and work, not perfectly, but way better, to the point where I can recommend it to people, though. And I see folks talking about Duolingo. I was going to say Duolingo. Learning Romanian on Duolingo. That's awesome. I have not ever tried that. Oino Bealapte. I know I mispronounced that, but hello. Anyway, that's great. I'm so glad that the chat is back. I'm still not seeing comments on Facebook, so who in the world knows if that is broken? But at least I'm seeing some comments in here. So I'm very, very glad to see folks coming in and that's working now. All right, so. Here's where I'm really glad that I was trying to get the chat working again, because the first few links under tutorials are dealing with the theme builder and things that you guys have asked for, and that we're working on getting that content and tutorials and everything put out. So the first one was one that I know you guys have asked about before, which was importing and exporting and using the theme builder's portability options. And so I believe it was Jason who wrote up the article on how to put that to good use. It's, going through and showing you what you can do with this library, as well as that's different than what you could do with just the regular Divi library, where you're going to be able to have like custom bodies and global headers, and then custom headers on your pages, and importing and exporting. And so he breaks it down to show you what excuse me, what all you can do. And this is the part that that I'm really excited about for the theme builder, because I'm really excited to see people starting to sell and design their designs from the theme builder. That they're making these entire websites that used to have to be child themes that don't have to be child themes anymore. That they can be, and you're obviously going to need the need child themes. Don't get me wrong, but you're not going to have to be fighting with nearly as many. Nearly as much when you're working with different designs and importing and third-party software that as well. So I really, really like this blog to be able to let y'all know what's coming up and maybe give you some ideas on how you can monetize this and get another revenue stream going. The Elegant Themes could have a great revenue stream if they gave us cloud storage for things like our personal Divi libraries. $5 a month for Divi Plus. I know there's a third-party plugin that does it. There is a third-party plugin that does it, and that's something that I can't comment on because it's something that discussions, it's one of those things I don't know where that ever landed. So people have talked about it. We've talked about it 100,000 different things, but it's a good idea, and I know that it's been talked about. I cannot make any promises because I don't know, but I know that there is also, I think it's wplayouts.com maybe that does stuff like that, but we are, I know that that's not something on the, like, coming up that but it's but I know how useful that would be. We are, and video, we are absolutely right now staying focused on the product. That is where everything is. We are absolutely working on Divi and making sure that it is as good as we possibly can. And I do hope you guys know that when I say Divi, I also mean extra. That if any of y'all are extra users, that that we're focused on that as well. And so we are including that with the Divi builder and all of that. And then the next one down the list is a guide to using sidebars with the Divi theme builder, which I've seen so much stuff about people wanting to know how to use sidebars, how to do all of this stuff, how the Divi sidebar differs from the theme builder sidebar, which differs from the WordPress sidebar. And that is what this article does. It shows you specifically how you can use the theme builder and the sidebars, because this is what makes me really happy about it, because I've been trying to get this functionality out of just, and I say just, the WordPress sidebar. The number of logic and conditionals that I have on some of my sites to display this widget if this category is here or whatever. My sidebar in the widget manager just looks, it's embarrassing. It's a facepalm. It is. It's terribly embarrassing. So this is going to give me the freedom to finally make those blog posts and categories and search pages and things like that show up with the content that I want on them, without having to worry about tons of conditional logic. So, and I see Uncle Social says 2019 mobile first, death to sidebars. At least don't rely on them. And I think that's where I fall. They still serve their purpose. That it's something that they used to be one of the reasons back in 2008, maybe 2009, when I originally went to WordPress from Blogger. One of the big reasons that I did was because obviously it was before mobile browsing was a thing. I was on a Palm Trio, for goodness sake. And and so sidebars were super important. Like, that was the big deal about WordPress, was that you could do all this stuff with sidebars and widgets. And now, like you said, mobile devices don't really use sidebars. But if your site gets enough desktop traffic, even a third, they're worth looking at, but don't rely on them as your primary source of information, because mobile users won't see it. But that's the thing with the theme builder. You can play around with them and do new good things. You can do a lot of good stuff with them. And like Shabazz says on YouTube, perfect, it's been hell with sidebars. Hell, and it has. It really has. That is, I can't agree with you more. And that's why we're looking at this, while we have this blog for you to see on what you can do with sidebars in the Divi theme builder. It's not a catch-all, obviously, because y'all are going to do stuff with sidebars that we didn't think of or is not included, but it shows you what you can do. And then I see Reed says there are certain sidebars that are necessaries, like those filter by bars with pricing, category, sizes. Yeah, absolutely. I actually prefer those though, Reed. And I see Uncle Social mentions the same thing. I prefer on those sites that it is a horizontal a bar on top of the product pages. That's where I look first. I much prefer a horizontal one above everything rather than a side one, but that's me. And JL Web Creative, and then I see Uncle Social follows up. Does importing theme builder layouts require the main customizer settings to match? Great question. I'm starting to get confused. Uncle Social says this. Great question. I'm starting to get confused by Divi's hierarchy of formatting. What takes priority? Theme customizer, theme builder, extending styles through modules, etc. The way that I understand it, and this is how I've been working under this assumption, is that modules take first priority on the page because if you have changed any individual settings. So if you import something into the theme builder, and please, if I'm wrong about this is how I've been working on it. So if I'm wrong, please somebody tell me, because I'm doing things wrong. If you adjust something on a modular basis with the theme builder, like the menu module or something like that, that will override anything in the theme customizer, because you have then overridden the defaults on an individual level. That should also take place for things like the global headers and global footers as well when you import a layout into the theme builder, because those were all changed on the layout side, which were not the defaults, which were then put on top of the defaults on the page, if that makes sense. The reasons that this can get really complicated are we now offer global defaults within modules that also override the customizer, but are then overridden themselves by an individual module change. So you can have your page defaults under, this is page defaults under customizer. Then you have page level and theme builder level templates. Well, I guess theme builder level templates there. Then you would have on top of that, again, the page level templates that were adjusted on top of the globals or dynamic content. And then again, it goes to module. So if you go in and adjust just a single text module, that will override settings for everything, but the theme customizer should be at the bottom. There are some complications that can come from that. And I agree, Uncle Social. My two hands for like 4 or 5 layers is not, did not think that one through. But the customization, theme customizer should be at the very bottom and then get overwritten by global theme builder defaults. Then you can go in and change it on a page by page basis. And then on that page, you can change it to change an individual module. It is, Reed, that is exactly what it is. It is explaining the stack in Magic the Gathering. It is first in, last out, is the way that you should probably look at it. Because, well, not really. First in, last out doesn't work for that. Last in, first out. Was that the way it is? Last in, first out. That's right. It's been so long since I've actually thought about the stack, but yes, top down is the way to think about it. Look at it from the top down perspective, where the very tip top of that pyramid is an individual module. Then you have global settings for that kind of module, the global settings on the page, global settings on the theme builder, and then global setting on the theme customizer of WordPress. Whew. Now, hopefully that's the way it actually is. Like I said, that's the way I've been working under the assumption of and override that way. And then you have things like the important tag on CSS to convolute this a little bit more. I've had changing with CSS with important overriding it all, and it just kind of does its own thing, and sometimes it messes up. So do your very best not to use important, the exclamation important in CSS when you're doing granular changes, because it can make things do odd stuff, and it will it is a very necessary element that you can use in CSS, but when you're making module changes like that, it can get icky with what is actually changing. And yeah, I see Reed is making that that thing, that example as well. Important breaks everything. And Ryland says, how long will Divi work on PHP 5.6? My web host hasn't upgraded yet. That's a good question. I need to write that down, Ryland, because I don't know how long that will be. How will Divi work on PHP 5.6? Because that's something I haven't heard about. That's great. I know that it will at least be through the end of the year. I see that you say I'll switch in January, but unfortunately I have no opportunity before that. I would assume that's going to be a fairly major announcement that we will put out ahead of time when that happens. So it will absolutely not be before January. With me not having heard anything about that, with Black Friday coming up, with a lot of new customers coming in that way, you are safe as far as I'm aware, that you will not have to worry about that. That host, that's a major issue with that host. And I have no idea who you're with, not knocking them at all. If you ask and they don't upgrade you, that's the issue. I understand it still being there, but if they're holding back on updating, then there are going to be plugins and things like that are just simply not going to work on your site anymore after the next month or so, just because that's where they are putting in minimums on some of these. And I see Uncle Social has a question, a better question. How long will you stay with that host? I would look at something else. Look at Black Friday deals. It's a pain to swap web hosts. I completely understand not doing so. But if that's something where they are hindering you or your clients, it's definitely worth looking into a web host with good or better support than that, if you're not able to get what you want out of them. And contracts and things like that happen too. So hopefully the best of luck with that, but don't worry about that. When you say you can swap in January to PHP 7, you're A-okay. Don't worry about that. But that's a very good question, and thank you. That was something that I've not had brought up or thought about. So I really, really do appreciate that. I get so dry throat, I guess is the way to put it. My mouth is fine, but my throat gets very, very dry. And then the last one of ours that deals with the theme builder is how to create a search results page template in Divi. And y'all, I'm just going to tell you straight up that this was published like 3 days ago. It was published on the 12th. And when I saw this, It's exactly the kind of thing. I'll just adjust some colors and stuff. I've already downloaded this and imported it into a couple of my sites and I will get them set up soon with it, because search results for some reason are such a pain for me to put together. And I'm so glad that Jason put this in there. Like, I hate search results pages because they're pretty terrible in general with WordPress. But the one Jason's put together here is really, really nice. It has a search bar at the top. It is quick, clean, and easy to see on desktop and mobile, or desktop and tablet. It has multiple columns for you to see stuff. Mobile, it does have only one, but it actually brings up the search results with a thumbnail as well. I'm impressed by this because I want this on my site. I've downloaded it and going to put it in because search and archive and category and tag pages are, now you can do them in Divi. Now you can do them in the WordPress or the Divi theme builder. So having the WordPress search actually look like the rest of your blog and function like the rest of your blog is great. So I'm not going to I can't go into, what you do on this because he's just showing you how to do it. But there is a download on there. He does walk you through how to do it. And it is well worth your time to check this out. If you haven't thought about styling your archives and search and categories and tags and all of this, think about it, because having those, they are major pages on your site that get a lot of traffic. And if you're not optimizing those, both for user experience and for conversion, anything, then there are missed opportunities there. So I think that this is a good one to start, generating those ideas and seeing what you can do with it. I see Keir says, Divi Theme Builder changes the game with regard to archives and search result pages. And I am 100% there with you. I've liked the Divi Builder Anywhere plugin before this to be able to use Divi layouts on pages like that. And now with this, it just makes it so much easier. I'm really happy to be able to do it. Oral Boston says the theme builder is also fantastic for custom 404 pages. And again, yes, I am so happy to have custom 404 pages being able to be designed in Divi, because before you would, again, plugins and weird things that like that could be used, but you'd have to hand code them in the 404.php. I'm so glad we can do it now. I'm so happy that we finally got this released and that we can do everything that we've been wanting to do, and that I know that y'all have been wanting to do for a very, very long time. Uncle Social is humble bragging about not having 404 errors, and which makes me want to get his entire library of sites and do everything I can to find a 404 error. I kid only a little bit. But I see that the under tutorials there. William Patton, that is correct. You can't have a 404 if you don't got no website. Please don't go DDoS, Uncle Social. Please, nobody do that. No, don't do that. But one of the things I ran across this week was an article titled, this is in the tutorials, this is just under the search page results in the description of the video. It's called, oh hey, padding percentage is based on the parent element's width. So, of course, I click into this when I see it. I see that headline. It's like, yeah, of course, I'm going to click into it. And I learned something that maybe you guys know, maybe you don't, that this writer Chris Coyer at CSS Tricks posted that this is just what he said. This is how the article starts. I learned something about percentage-based padding today that I had totally wrong in my head. I always thought that the percentage padding was based on the element itself. So if an element is 1,000 pixels wide with padding top of 50%, that the padding is 500 pixels. It's weird having top padding based on width, but that's how it works. But only sorta. The 50% is based on the parent element's width, not itself. I did not know that it was based on the parent element's width. not the current element that you're working with, not the not that, it's the element itself, but the parent one. I thought the entire time that it was based on the viewport size. I've thought this entire time, my entire life, like I guess since I've been using this CSS padding and things like that, I thought padding and margin and everything like that was based on the view height and view width of the viewport. So if you have whatever it is, that would be 50% of the view, and it's not. It's not. I was totally wrong. You guys, I've been completely wrong. If you were one of those people who may have had this in your head that it worked differently, I just wanted to point this out to you guys, and I put it under tutorials because it's learning how to do this right. If you didn't know that it was on the parent element, that you were padding based on the parent element, not what you're actually padding, thought you guys should know that, because I didn't know it, and I assume that means that someone else didn't know it. When if you have a question and somebody else has the same question and is too scared to ask it, remember what they always told us in school. So that is exactly what it is. And then Kier says that's why the VH and VW measurements are actually really useful. It is. That is going to make me start using VH and VW more than just percent, because I'd gotten to the point where, just for simplicity's sake, that I'd been using the percent just because it was, the same thing, but it's not the same thing. And Judy, I'm curious. Judy asks on YouTube, what if you don't know the parentage? And I'm curious how you don't know the parentage of an element. Maybe it's the way that I'm thinking about the websites, with the way with them being nested. Can you give me an example where you don't know the parentage? Uncle Social, you got me. Uncle Social says that you take the element on the Maury Povich show and get a DNA test. Thank you so much for that. Thanks. You win, sir. But I am curious though, Judy. I can't think of a I can't think of a oh, it's a joke. Oh, Judy. It is one of those days, that y'all have made my day with this one. Like, I'm about to cry. I can't even get over it. Like, I know I'm live, but I can't stop. I just can't stop thinking about that. Y'all are killing me. Oh, goodness. I'm glad to say that William Patton, earlier, he said he's missed a couple of weeks of the stream and missed all the humor. That I'm certainly glad that you're getting to experience this, William. I'm dead. I've lost. I'm actually trying to get control better. There's one joke that the Oatmeal does. If you guys don't know the webcomic The Oatmeal, it's a comic of a dinosaur doing stand up, and he asks, so where does George Washington keep his armies? And the answer is, in his sleeveys. My wife has a video of me seeing that for the first time, where I'm cackling so much that I can't stop for a good 10 minutes, and I've laughed so hard that I've broken into a sweat laughing at that comic, and it just hit me, and it hit me kind of like that. Like, this one didn't hit me that hard, but the two times that I've done that are Washington's armies are kept in his sleeveys, and then there was a TV show called The Soup, where there was one called Cupcake Dog, and every time I saw Cupcake Dog, you can Google it, you will his hypnotized eyes made me laugh like that. So thanks, Uncle Social. You got me. Maury Povich. Now, anyway, moving moving down the list a little bit further, the another CSS tricks article was really neat that came out yesterday, called "Finally, it will be easy to change the color of list bullets." And there's gonna be a much easier way to target individual bullets and style them in Firefox. Firefox, can't even remember what version it was. 68 and Safari 11.1 are going, and iOS Safari is going to be able, they're all going to be able to support this new the new CSS, to where you can target individual bullets and have them style much easier than you've been able to do it in a list before. So it's just something to take a look at. I just wanted you to know about that. I'm still just want to. I just want to giggle. Yoast has an article that they published this week called "How to Start with SEO," which I included here for you guys to share with your clients. This is a really good rundown of how to use the most basic functions of the plugin to know what they're looking for and what the stuff means. I see a lot of people who just look at it and just assume, well, I'm doing everything wrong, or I have to have every single thing in the green, and that's not the case. And having everything in the green is not going to make you rank either. So this is something they put out for people like that, people like you, people like me, who need the refresher on that. So share that with your clients as well. And I see Not Ian Moon says, are there any templates available yet for product category carts and checkouts yet? Side note, this is the first time I'm watching, and I love this show. Not Ian, I'm sorry this is the first time that you're watching and you catch me start giggling and losing control, but I'm certainly glad that you that you are loving the show. I really appreciate that. And I don't think that we have any of the product category and carts checkout templates yet. I'm not sure what's in the pipeline, but I don't doubt that we'll have some tutorials on those soon. That's the kind of thing that Jason and Donietta put out regularly. And then and Uncle Social mentions that new Woo modules are imminent as an update for Divi. We are introducing another 17 modules for the WooCommerce Builder in Divi. So when those come out, especially, there will be a lot more going on with tutorials and templates as well. Like, we're just in the beginning stages of getting the templates and tutorials out for the theme builder, because there's so much that we can do with it. And Reed asks if anyone has had problems with background videos on iOS on mobile, and I've not. I haven't. I actually haven't seen any at all. Like, I haven't seen any videos on mobile on iOS in a long time. So if there are issues, then it's universal, because I just haven't seen any like background videos on my phone in a while. And Video asks, what do you think about rank math versus Yoast? I use Yoast, and I've never used rank math. I know that somebody on here had mentioned rank math in the past, a few weeks back. That was one. I've not touched it, but we do have an overview of rank math coming out on the blog soon. I saw that it was being turned in, so hopefully that will be coming out soon, to at least give you the idea of that. Like, rank math looks really cool to me. When y'all mentioned it before, I went and looked into it, and then we started getting the that blog post underway, but I have not used it personally. It looks really nice, but I haven't used it. I want to know about it versus Yoast. Right now, I've kind of stuck with Yoast on personal stuff, just because that's what I know. And I know that's what we use. That's what we use at work here. We have Yoast installed, so that's what I'm used to using here too. But yeah, I'm looking forward to reading the rank math article as well. And Kier asks, has anyone had issues with the WooCommerce modules and theme builder? I have some issues in Visual Builder, but no problems with wireframe mode. I think that is just the way that the Visual Builder sometimes works, Kier, and there are bugs that are being quashed now that the theme builder is out, that we're working hard on getting a lot of bugs squashed. That the Visual Builder has some weird things that will just occasionally happen to it that I used to go into the backend builder to use, and now I use the wireframe mode. So that's my workaround when there's ever anything that doesn't quite line up. In terms of getting it fixed, I would really appreciate, and I know the team would too, that you submit a bug report on exactly what it's doing, so that as we're working on this kind of bug marathon and figuring it out, like describing what it's doing that works in the wireframe mode but doesn't work in the Visual Builder, that we know to do that. But my suggestion immediately was going to be use the wireframe mode because sometimes it just doesn't line up. So, but yeah, that's something that we don't want that to happen. Like, that is not the ideal. That is not the result that when we're sending it out. So when something like that does pop up, let us know about it so that we can fix that. So really appreciate y'all doing that. And Ryland says that I use rank math and find it easier to use than Yoast. That's good to know. I need to really dig in and check that out then, because I like Yoast. But anytime somebody says easier to use, I'll just straight up take it. So I wanna check that out. I've used Squirrely in the past, and I liked it, but it was a little bit obtrusive for me, so hopefully rank math won't be. Well, that is about the time that I've got today. I want to point out some of the really cool resources before I go. I've got just a couple of things that I want to mention. We have another article that had been published on the blog called 5 Ways Toxic Clients Kill Your Productivity and Steal Your Time. I've run into this. I know other people have run into this. Haley, the freelancer who has written this, had to fire some clients and wrote based on that. It's a really good read that if you haven't ever had to fire a client or are scared to do so, there's a really good discussion to be had here on discovering whether or not a particular client is worth keeping on as your own client. And there's also one called from underconstructionpage.com that is Black Friday WordPress deals for 2019, and you can submit your own for free. I thought you guys would probably want to know about a lot of the different WordPress Black Friday deals. A lot of people are getting them out and announced right now. So check that out. There are a bunch on there. If you run a company who is doing a Black Friday deal, put it on there, submit, see if you can bring in more people. I mean, the worst thing that can happen is, that you don't get any extra sales. So do that. I see Uncle Social says that how to create a photo contest is about Raffle Press. I'm so close to buying that plugin. It's so cheap compared to the competition service Elegant Themes uses for giveaways, but is it good? I've never used Raffle Press. I've used Raffle Copter, and I've liked it. I don't think they're related. If they are, I don't know it. We use Gleam, but it is a more expensive option for giveaways. I like it. It does really well. Raffle Press is one that I'm going to look into the next time I do something like that. But if you buy it and you get a license, let me know how that is, so that we can, so I can know about it and we can talk about it. And then the very last couple of things on here, there is a really good article on Freemius about, is WordCamp dying or not? And the answer is no, it's not, and that's the whole thing. But they're talking about takeaways from WordCamp US 2019. I like recap posts, but they also talk about how strong this is, how strong WordCamps are, how strong the WordPress community is, and why like next year being during the week is going to be a really, really good thing for the community. So that's a good read. And also, there is a Code Newbie podcast where the topic this week is what you should look for in an online coding course. And while I haven't had a chance to listen to this one yet, I love the Code Newbie podcast. I listen to it as often as I can. And that's something that I know a lot of people look for, online coding courses, especially this time of year with Black Friday coming around. There are tons of Udemy courses that go on sale. Like there are just a bunch of these. And then they're talking about what to look for in those online coding courses. So if y'all are looking for that this time of year or know someone who is, that's a good podcast to shoot them towards. Saran is a fantastic host, and it's just one of my favorite podcasts. And then I saw that topic, and I was like, yeah, what you should look for in an online coding course, that would have been helpful years ago. So it's helpful now to someone else. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank y'all for dealing with the startup problems that we had today with the software crashing. I hope you guys have an absolutely wonderful weekend and week. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for anybody new who came in. Really appreciate it. We do this every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. It's the same time that you're here right now. On Tuesdays, we have a stream with Jason or Danietta doing a use case with Divi at the same time. On Tuesdays, I think I said that. That's where I learn a lot about Divi. I know a lot of other people do as well, just how to use it, showing you how to use it in a real life situation. So tune in on that. And anytime we have a feature release, Mac has a live stream at 6 a.m. Eastern to go through that. If you're new to the theme builder, that was his newest one, and you can watch the archives of that on YouTube and Facebook. It is absolutely worth looking at to learn how to use it in the and hear people's questions on that. So I want to shout out for that archive post. Then remember to hit the like button. It helps so much more than you may realize. Ring the bell so that you know when we go live, because just subscribing won't tell you that. And the same on Facebook. If you're watching on there, you have to tell Facebook you want to be notified when we go live. Following, again, just doesn't give you that. So if you'd like that, we would really, truly appreciate it. I appreciate you spending your time with me in the afternoon like this. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Hope everybody has a great week. And I will see you on Friday. Bye, y'all.